Okay, have you ever stopped to think about the single most important delivery service in the world? And no, I'm not talking about Amazon or your Friday night pizza. I'm talking about something happening inside your body right now, every single second. Today, we're diving into that incredible system and some really fascinating new science around it.
Seriously, just imagine it. A fleet of trillions, with a T, of tiny little vehicles on a mission that never, ever stops. Their job is so important that if they take even a short break, the whole system just grinds to a halt. This isn't science fiction. It's what's happening inside you to keep you going. So let's go meet the drivers, shall we?
All right, the absolute hero of this story is the red blood cell. These little guys are the ultimate workhorses of your body. They're just tirelessly zipping through that massive highway system of your veins and arteries. Their entire life is dedicated to one single life-giving mission.
Think of them as the ultimate delivery trucks. Their shift starts in your lungs, where they load up on the most precious cargo you can imagine, oxygen. Then it's off to the races. They speed off to drop off that oxygen to every single cell in your body, from your brain all the way down to the tips of your toes. Without that constant delivery, nothing works. But, what happens when there's a problem with the delivery fleet? What if the trucks themselves are too weak to make the trip? Or maybe the factory just can't make enough of them to keep up with all the orders? Well, that's when the whole system gets into some serious trouble.
That trouble actually has a medical name you've probably heard of: anemia. So, sticking with our little story, anemia is basically what happens when your delivery service is understaffed. You just don't have enough red blood cells, or the trucks themselves are breaking down. Either way, the result is a major oxygen delivery delay, which is why people can feel so tired and weak. And when you dig into it, scientists see two big reasons for these problems. First up, weak armor. The outer shell of the red blood cell, its membrane, it needs to be super strong but also flexible. If that armor gets fragile, the cell can just fall apart. The second problem, constant traffic jams. This is our way of talking about chronic inflammation. It can literally clog up the highways of your body and even slow down the factory that produces new red blood cells. So, with these challenges in mind, researchers are always on the lookout for new ways to keep our cells healthy. And this is where the science gets really cool, leading them to look at specific nutrients and how they might help out. And that brings us to a molecule that's been getting a lot more buzz in research labs lately. It's called C15/0. That's pronounced C15. It's a special kind of fatty acid, which are basically the building blocks of fats. Scientists are now getting really curious about what role C15 might play in keeping our little cellular delivery service running smoothly. So, why all the interest? Well, early research is looking at two potential superpowers. First, could it help with reinforcing the armor? Researchers are looking into C15's potential to actually become part of the cell's outer layer, possibly making it stronger. And second, could it help with clearing the traffic? Studies are exploring if it might help keep our body's inflammatory response in balance. Let's look a little closer at that armor idea. In some lab studies, scientists noticed that when C15 levels were low, cell membranes seemed to be more fragile. But on the flip side, some research suggests that having C15 in that membrane might actually help keep it stable and flexible, which is absolutely crucial for our little delivery trucks to squeeze through the tiniest blood vessels without breaking. And what about those traffic jams? We know for sure that long-term inflammation can really mess with the body's ability to make new red blood cells. Now, some scientists are investigating if C15 can interact with some of the key molecules that signal inflammation, like TNF-alpha and IL-6. But it's important to remember this research is still in its very early days. Okay, exploring new science like this is awesome. It's exciting. But this is also where we need to pump the brakes and be super clear and responsible. It is so important to understand the huge difference between early research and a proven medical treatment. So let's be crystal clear here. What we've been talking about is emerging science. C15 is not an FDA-approved drug or treatment for anemia, or for anything else for that matter. The path from a cool molecule in a lab to a medicine you can trust is incredibly long and difficult, and this research just isn't there yet. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important takeaway of this entire story. Your health is your own. Any decision you make about what you eat or what supplements you take should only, and I mean only, be made after talking with a doctor or another qualified healthcare professional who actually knows you and your medical history.
So we're left with this big, exciting question that really drives science forward.
The story of C15 is still being written, for sure. But it's a really powerful reminder of just how much we're still discovering about our own bodies. Could a key to better cellular health really be hiding inside a single molecule? For now, that's a fascinating question for scientists to keep exploring.